You might not have watched my last video. It was an hour, but it was hopeful for me. It gave me, uh, kind of a walkthrough of what I was looking for, and I was able to capitalize on that. Let's kind of go through it though. Let's just go over the daily, look at the 65, the weekly. I'll kind of go over the entry I had today and probably what was the best idea set up. So the main thing for for SPY, I mentioned that if we were to break these lows from these last two sessions, that we can probably sell off down into this to these lows here from February. I'm not February, but from December 20th. When we kind of then had that rally back up into this rising wedge or whatever, putting in another lower high, and now we just made another lower low. But we got brought up. We didn't finish on the lows, which is very important. We didn't close on the lows, right? Showing that there's buyers present in here. So we got to be mindful of that. I don't think really if you're wanting to like take a swing short, it's probably not the best idea. If you want to like scalp, or day trade, perhaps that is the best scenario here. But yeah, that was kind of the play. And was it funny where we stopped? Well, no, not really, because where we stopped at was the 20 EMA on the weekly. And last time we tapped this was back here in September, and we went on to make all-time highs. So good chances are, history repeats itself, and we tapped here, and perhaps we make all-time highs. But we gotta let the charts build out. So we go here and look at the 65-minute. Again, what we can see is that we are still making lower lows and lower highs on the 65-minute, and this is the 50 and the 9 and the 20 and the 200 EMA based off the 65-minute. Usually I show the daily, but I realized that those are a little challenging to see because the way I have my chart set up. So for the most part, yeah, we kind of undercutted this low right here from 580.91 by a few cents, right? The low was 580.75 and then 580.50, so we undercut it by 50 cents, and then we kind of just started to rally back up. But perhaps what happens is we do something like this, and perhaps we pop again and we roll over again, and that marks another lower high on the 65-minute, just like it marked another lower high here, and marked another lower high here from that. So all right, if that starts to happen, what you're gonna have is a situation where like we went down, we tap, we went down, we tap, we went down, we tap, and then if we do crack this again, it just probably ain't gonna be no buyers there. And that's when we can probably even see a more explosive move rather than just one candle action or maybe two 65-minute candles of like some selling for the most part. That's kind of what we got here on the daily. On the 65-minute. Let's go take a look at the 5-minute chart and like what was like an idea spot to short. The one thing I wouldn't say I try to tell people, but like if you're able to like trade, you should be able to trade short to the short side too. Because like if I just flip this chart, you look at this as a breakout, right? You say, okay, we got resistance right here, right? We tap this resistance again. We just put in a higher low right here. Oh, boom, we're ready to break out. That's pretty much the same thing to the downside when you have that momentum, right? We put in a low right here. We came in, retested this area, rejected, made a low, right? Came in, made another low right here, made a say a lower, not really a lower low, but a lower high right here, and then we break down, and that's when exactly where I took the short. Some people see you short in the hole, but I'm shorting at support with momentum that's carrying down into it. Right, I got a nice little explosive move using today's expiration, which is very risky. You have to be mindful of that. I got a nice move in those contracts. They went about 200%. I collected about 70%, and I was done on this particular trade. And then for the end of the day, again, we tap down here and we just fly back into the to VWAP, and that's what kind of like where we're sitting right now. But idea entry, if you can kind of notice this consolidation, maybe you could take a stab here. But really, the best entry today was if you realize that all we did was come back into Friday's lows from underneath, and we got a rejection candle right there, right? You see that rejection candle, you can take it short, right? Using 2-3 days expiration, right? Maybe risking like 50 points on on the you buy one strike down, maybe you're risking like 50 or $55, for every point that it moves up, or every dollar it moves up. But look at the risk to reward. I mean, if you short right here, this is your trigger right below this low, and your stop is literally the high of the day at right here. You're risking a dollar like 10 cents. And if you mark this out, so I think we can get back down here into these lows. Well, boom, that's a 5-to-1 risk reward. Or maybe you say, what, maybe we can get down into the prior day's close. That's a 3.5 risk reward. It's worth taking a stab at, and that's the good thing about like when you're using your risk tool. So that's what we got there. I think I already went over the weekly, right? I said we tapped the 20, or almost tapped the 20. We didn't really tap it. We almost tapped the 20. You might can't see it, but there's a little space right here between the EMA 20 on the weekly and where we kind of wicked off at. So it's gonna look like it for the most part. But yeah, that's what we got there. Go looking at QQQ real fast on the Qs. Oh, that's not QQQ. Let's go to QQQ, and I'll go over this. On the weekly, we're below the EMA 9 daily. I want to say I mentioned this as well, right? We do have a 50 right here. We blow through the 50, a good chance we make new lows. That's exactly what we did. We got brought up in no man's land. I don't really see like why this bounced or where it bounced at. No, but for the most part, it's kind of looking just like SPY. We go back to SPY, where I say like right now it's just a penis in between us, right? We're just stuck in between. We're just closed in between, this Monday's range, So for this week, even though we're in a new year, for this week, from the 30th, we're just closing in this range. And if you think about it from like a weekly, candle, right, you can tell like there's indecision, right? Buyers and sellers are battling it out right now. Buyers are stepping in at the lows, sellers are stepping in at the highs. So that's what we got there. QQQ. Let's go back to QQQ real fast. I'm not gonna go over IWM, but QQQ, right, undercut at these lows, and we start to get bought back up. So for me, I want to say like this is like your level to watch, like 519, even probably like 516.80 for right. If we get above here, maybe you can start looking long again. Again, this is the 50 SMA off the 65 minutes. I don't really pay that no mind. I really use it for the daily, but perhaps we cracked there, or let's look at it from this, like just draw a trend line. All right, we have a trend that's going downward. Perhaps we start to break this shorter term trend line that's kind of been forming from last Friday, and we do get back above here. I don't think you want to look short anymore. You might want to look to the long side for us to probably fill this gap up into here. Right, you got a nice little, I want to say a nice little gap, but we do have a gap like right here. Right, so we got to look at that, and let me see if that shows on the daily as well. Let me just tighten this up real fast, so make sure I show this. All right, there's a gap right there on your daily. So maybe we come back and fill this little gap we got. But yeah, but I think that's a little bit too wide. Let me see where I have this. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, so perhaps we come up and fill that gap up to and that's above this trend line. That's a good risk to reward, right? You're risking about 5 points. Maybe you could tighten up your stop a little bit more, but we'll see. For the most part, I think Tesla was the biggest play today, and I'll show you kind of how I took this trade, what I was looking at. So for Tesla, the gap down, annual deliveries had missed. Elon was so worried about the election, he really haven't been too concerned about what was going on with Tesla, and it kind of shit the bed. So for me, where I took my stab, and I'll tell you like where were opportunities you can take. But what I thought was the easier setup for the most part was definitely, let me just extend this, because this area is definitely going to be important on how we break it. So let me just extend this to the right as well. So the main thing was that if you was taking you can't take a 5-minute ORB, right? Because look how much you're risking, and like where you're going to capture to, like where you're going to, like where's your target? Because we were already below like pre-market lows at that point. So I'm not too really sure. What would you do here? But what I found was the best setup, and I really like what I did here. I took the 385s for tomorrow, which is very risky, right? Because those expiring tomorrow, a lot of volatility. But I was gonna let this, try to see if this can play out. So we put in this hammer candle in a 2-minute, and then we pulled back, and we got right up in here, which was the opening price. And once I seen this rejection here, this candle here, I was willing to take it short right here, and my stop was going to be the previous candle high. right? So if we kind of mark that off, looking at 2 minute, this is a day trade, right? This isn't something you want to try to swing, but I'm risking from right here around $2, right? $2 on the contracts. I only bought one contract, and I took these down to about where are we at? Um, I want to say it was right around like once we broke VWAP, I got out. I probably should have managed this a little better, but I got like a good like 70%, maybe 60% on these, maybe more actually. What from 5.5? No, it's probably more like 80, 90%. Cause I took these from like 550 to like 8.99 bucks, wherever that math turns out to be. But yeah, that was a pretty good move. Not really an idea set up right here. I mean, you could take this, but stop over here, risking about $1. You get down to like right here, but if you're playing zero DTEs or tomorrow's expirations, those contracts, the data just ate those up. Even though you did hit this level, I mean, by the time you hit this level, they're probably around the same price you had bought them at. So you gotta be mindful of that. So that's what we kind of seen on Tesla, and now it's kind of just like in no man's land. We got a gap down here that we haven't fully filled. We got a rise in 50. So we got to maybe this is the area we want to watch. So we want to watch this breakout level, probably like right here. I mean, we can kind of really see that across the board, which was like 360. So like right around here, and there's actually like a little gap right in here as well. So let's go ahead and mark that off too, right? So we got a gap underneath which can act as support, and we also have the this kind of breakout level. So perhaps that's where it's want to bounce at. Let's go ahead and look at the weekly real fast. We're right here at the EMA 9 on the weekly, still extended from the 20. So we kind of just wait and see. I don't think you want to kind of try it tomorrow. Maybe if we break the lows and you want to target 360 or so, right? Buying some cheap options on a Friday. We know Tesla likes to move on a Friday. Maybe that's your go-to there. The one last thing I want to do real fast is like look at like what was actually strong today. So Apple wasn't strong, right? Crazy sell-off, volumes picking up below the 9 and the 20, right? Had this crazy move up. Maybe you want to tap the 50 in this previous breakout spot back here at 237, and then we continue higher. So we gotta wait. We got a couple more bucks to see what happens there. Nvidia was pretty strong, but my thesis is still valid as in what I'm seeing right now. I think this is a third wave down. I think we could still have a level to put in a lower high. Where that happens at is kind of not too sure of, but the 50 is starting to decline down. We can see that easily, and we're right here pinched right above the 9 and the 20. But maybe this is more of the current trend. Yeah, actually, we got like a little flag here. I don't know. We got to see how this plays out. Let's go check the weekly real fast. Right, weekly's still not bad. Weekly's still not bad. So gotta wait and see how this looks. Let's go check out SMH, was the semiconductors, trading sideways. Man, this can go both ways on the week. Oh, that's the weekly. I don't like this chart. I hate charts that are just so gappy. I mean, but it's still holding the 200, pinning in a higher low, from that hold to the 200. So, yeah, we got to see how this works. But the 50 is flat. It's flattening out, curling down. So, we got to wait and see. I mean, for the most part, I would say, what was Meta doing today? Was Meta strong? Meta's still strong off the 50 day, putting in higher lows. But I don't really see a setup really. Maybe you got like a little trend line here or something that we can work with, but I'm not trying to play this. I'm not trying to play anything like that with the current market conditions. So above the 9 and the 20, sure, we want to look for things like that, but I think that would be a little hard. You might people probably sell into that. Definitely up here at 607. So perhaps what I'll do is I'll mark off this level right here, and if we do start to break out and we roll over at 607, I'll probably look to take a short. So what was interesting, what led to what was really leading today, was nuke plays and energy, and I'll just kind of show you that exactly. I think I talked about UNH. I can go over that real fast. I mean, this bear flag is still starting to play out. We're starting to break it. Let's see what happens tomorrow, right? Buy some cheap options. Maybe we get a move down to like 490 or so. But this is starting to play out a little bit to the downside. This wave down, still looks like it's the this that's the play. And we'll see what happens. Where am I looking at? All right, we're coming up on 15 minutes. I'm gonna try to make this shorter, definitely shorter than yesterday. So yeah, as you see, I kind of just got a bunch of sectors marked out. Coinbase, still gotta get back above this breakdown spot, 230. I mean, you got the 50s inclining, but the 10 and 20 or 9 and 20 still curling down. May flag out into these levels and roll back over. So let's be mindful of that. Micro strategy, into this gap, but doji candle in the middle, inside day, nothing to do there. All right, we don't want to trade inside days, right? All right, we're near the top of the range, right? We can probably look to play like a little scout breakout. Bottom of the range, play the breakdown. I'm leaning more to the breakdown considering we're at with the moving averages, but that's my thought process. Crowd, nothing here. But let me talk about what I was going to talk about. So I said solar and it was nuclear energy. So CG, this had some type of news. I don't know what the news was exactly. Um, See if I can find it. Check what the news was. Came in definitely early in the morning. Celsius awarded 840 million power contract to supply U.S. agencies, and this just ripped. And it kind of just sat right here, right? Really funny how it stalled out or stops right at the moving average, right? Right at the 50 is where it kind of stalls out at. This was probably a good news play. I mean, your trigger could definitely be that open right there, right above that high, right above 226. You buy shares, man. You buy shares with a stop low a day, risk about $1. Man, you never know, man. Little things like that could really, allow you to be in a position for a much longer time, right? So that's the previous high day. You can see right where we're opening up at. Right, all you have to do is say, all right, we get back above that level. I'm going to take the shares right there, and my stop is right here. Right, you're risking $2 a share. Right, you buy 10 shares, put 2 grand down, about $2,270. Right, you're out at $2,250. Right, you're risking $30. Right, and look at this move. Right, on 10 shares. Right, you got almost another $13 or so after that. I mean, this is just trading cleaning. Even when the market was selling off, this was just tapping and coming into the VWAP, and then showing that it has relative strength comparative to the market. And we kind of seeing that as well on VST. Same thing on VST. Not necessarily in terms of holding the VWAP, but we kind of break below and we rally right back up. After market, we're at highs. What I'm trying to say is we need to pay attention to this. Right, this is a strong move. We're back. We wedge pop through the EMA 9 and EMA 10. 50 days still curling up. What I really liked about VST as well was that maybe it wasn't VST. Maybe it was Celsius weekly. It's one of these weeklies. Nope, it was none of the weeklies. But so I don't like anything about the weekly here, but we are above the EMA 9. We need this to probably set up. This can get a pullback. You need to watch this on a lower time frame and see what happens. I think that's the kind of idea there. See what happens. We start to pull back, maybe $5 or so. Put in a higher low, right, and then you take your trigger over that higher low with a stop at that higher the higher low being your stop, right, and try to get this move to take this as a continuation play. But we also seen I wouldn't say oil. I think. Yeah, Oxy was a little strong in the morning. It definitely faded his move off, right? It was all the way up at 50, 58, and then it kind of sold back down to the lows. But we can kind of see like a little 65-minute trend here. Seasonality is probably coming into play on this. People are probably trying to get position here above a declining 50, but we gapped above it. So that's interesting. So we got to watch OU. We got to watch nukes. And we have to pay attention to solar because solar was really strong today as well. Still below the EMAs and a declining 200 to 50. But there was some relative strength here as well. I still like this NXT chart. I think I'm gonna try to find a way in this. If we can get a pullback, put in a higher low, I'm willing to try to take a stab at some shit. I know that the 200 is declining, but the 50 is flattening out, starting to curl up. We done broke through the 9 and the 20 on the daily. We broke through the 9 here on the weekly. We're kind of breaking this mini little pop right here. Right? We sold off, put in a higher low right here at 33 bucks. Right, remember this was 60 bucks, guys. I mean, that's a pretty good move if we can. I think about it. Right, we can get back to all time highs. You're talking about 50%, 58% on shares. Who knows where this could go? So I think that's something to watch. Same thing with end phase. Not really liking the end phase action here. I think the next chart looks much better. But that's what I seen today. And I'll do a little deeper scan. No quantum is still doing quantum thing. I'm still pissed about this. I had this at $1.72. It sold it for 100%. Now it's up 2,000%. Jesus Christ, hasn't even given you a reason to get out. Hasn't even touched the EMA9 or the 10. Oh, we talk about this docu trade. I got out today. I'm really happy with this trade. This was a 70% win on the 90 puts for July on my runners. And the candle I sold out on was, we're looking at the 65 minute. Was this candle here. That's exactly where I got out at. Right here. I really like that I got out there because I seen where we were at in the market. We were coming into those election lows or whatever. And I was like, man, this is probably a good spot to take this off. Right. It wasn't really selling off as much more as I want. I feel like it was starting to stall out. And at the end of the day, I mean, this is a stock that's above the 9 and the 20 on the weekly. And, this is something that had a pop off the earnings. So this pullback, can get bought up at any time, and this chart can look hot again. So I'm happy I took that off. I probably got lucky taking that trade. So it is what it is. Last thing I want to talk about is this snowflake. I know the daily looks nasty, but we got to pay attention to this weekly, this pullback after the earnings into the EMA9. Let's see what happens here. Maybe next week we can take this as a trigger for a continuation. You're looking at a $4 stop. Buying further dated options. That can give you a really good opportunity there. But all right, that's about it here. This is Chris. Peace. God bless.